Assalamualaikum and a very good day to our honourable guest, Tan Sri Dato. Assalamualaikum and a very good day to our honourable
ladies and gentlemen.
Tan Sri.
My name is Safwan Muhammad Noor.
Professors,
and
doctors,
I am Nur Amalina
ladies and
Muhammad
gentlemen.
Zaki. Welcome
My name
everyone.
is Safwan
Welcome to
Muhammad
the
Noor.
6th International Conference
I am Nur
of
Amalina
Accounting,
Muhammad Zaki.
Business and Economics, Icabec 2020.
Earlier, we have just conducted and completed our first parallel session. Before we proceed with the opening ceremony, let us all begin by reciting our prayers. That we are having some technical issues. Please bear with us for a few minutes. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyid Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. All praise to you, Ya Allah, the Almighty, most great and most merciful. To you who creates the earth and the heaven and all that lies within. All praise to Allah for what He bestowed us from the bounty of Islam and taught us wisdom and guidance from Quran. Ya Allah, may we ask you to give us good and to protect us from the evil. Ya Allah, we gathered here today for the International Conference on Accounting, Business and Economics 2020. With your grace and blessing, this program shall run as planned. Through this humble supplication, we express our gratitude for this opportunity, and we seek from you, Ya Allah, endless guidance and blessing in our present and future endeavors. Ya Allah, the most merciful and most forgiving, give us the strength to perform the tasks ahead and to fulfill it, the responsibilities and are associated with them. Inspire us to adopt positive attitudes and protect us from adopting habits that deter progress. Ya Allah, you encompass everything in mercy and knowledge. Therefore, forgive us for our wrongdoings and grant us good in this life and hereafter. Allahumma ja'al jam'ana hadha jam'an marhuma wa tafarruqana min ba'dihi tafarruqan ma'suma wa la taj'alillahumma fina wa la ma'ana shakiyya wa la mahruma برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Amin, Amin Ya Rabbal Alamin. Before we proceed with the welcoming speech, we would like to share some information on Icabec with everyone. So this year is the 6th time Icabec is organized. The first time Icabec was organized is about a decade ago. Since then, University Malaysia Terengganu has been organizing Icabec every consecutive years.
Because of the COVID-19 pandemic, this conference for the first time ever is being held virtually by UMT. The theme for this year's conference is Sustainable Business and Innovation, New Normal Going Forward. And this year, Dr. Amalina, the conference has recorded the highest number of participants from different countries with over 150 submissions coming from different research fields and topics.
Indeed, Dr. Safwan, majority of our participants are not from University Malaysia Terengganu. Therefore, we would like to grab this opportunity to introduce the university to everyone. Please enjoy the corporate video of University Malaysia Terengganu.
Now comes the exciting moment. We would first like to invite Professor Dato Dr. Noraini Haji Mokhtar, Vice Chancellor of UMT, to deliver her welcoming speech. Dato, over to you.
Faculty of Business and Law of Deakin University, Professor Dr. Budi Riso Sudarmo, and Gordon, Department of Economics and Deputy Head, Poverty and Inequality of Research Centre, Australia National University, Professor Dr. Susila Devi K. Supia, Director of the Centre Accountability and Governance Research, Sunway University, and also President of Malaysian Accounting Association, MyAA. Dr. Jora Ramlan, Vice President, Malaysia Economy Association, MEA, Asia Europe Institute, University of Malaya. And yang berusaha Profesor Dr. Muhammad Shaladin bin Muda, Dean of Faculty of Business, Economics and Social Development of UMT, and also the Chair of the International Conference on Accounting, Business and Economics, Icabec 2020. Honorable guests and international guests, participants, and also local participants, the hardworking conference organizer, ladies and gentlemen. In praises to Allah, whose grace and blessings have enabled us to gather here today for the opening ceremony of the 6th International Conference on Accounting, Business and Economics, Icabec 2020. A very warm welcome to everyone, to all guests, especially our keynote speakers, the paper presenters, and also participants. Your virtual presence here is highly appreciated, and I look forward to this conference being delivered with flying colors. Tan Sri, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very delighted to see the continuance of this conference despite the COVID-19 pandemic, which is profoundly affecting the life around the globe and presently threats to the economic sustainability. Taking on new challenges during this pandemic, it is imperative to find new ways to work and to communicate with our colleagues and partners while taking care of our mental health and physical well-being. Thus, the dissemination of our research findings should be continued by leveraging advanced technologies during this similar platform that we have today, is our conference online. Online conference and webinars nowadays, it becomes a normal way going forward for us to have this interaction and connection. For that, let me begin by thanking the Faculty of Business, Economics and Social Development, UMT, for organizing this conference. This time we have managed, as mentioned by the MCs, we have managed to gather 155 presenters from 9 countries: Australia, Brunei, Indonesia, Japan, Jordan, Malaysia, Nigeria, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia. Thank you for your participation. We are very much delighted to inform that the selected papers from this conference will be considered for publication in Scopus Index journals, namely Journal of Sustainability Science Management, JSSM, which is from UMT, the International Journal of Economics and Management, IJAM, ASEAN Academy of Management Journal of Accounting and Finance, AAMJAF, ASEAN Academy of Management Journal, AAMJAF, Management and Accounting Review, MAR, and International Journal of Public Sector Performance Management, IJP-SPM. So it's a vast opportunity for your future publication. Special thanks to Tan Sri Abdul Wahid Omar. Thank you, Tan Sri, for your presence to launch this conference today. Your immense experience and insights in leading Bursa Malaysia Berhad particularly would be most valuable to shift our mindset to the real issues at hand. The conference theme, which is very close to my heart and very timely, sustainable business and innovation, new normal going forward. This theme does not only focus on localized issues, rather it seeks academic outputs for addressing this global pressing concern. We have to accept that the fact that pandemic will not be vanquished so soon, and businesses will continue to be challenged and their operations highly likely to be brought to a halt. I read in the media this morning that it's almost about 73 million people all over the world has been affected by this pandemic. In this regard, companies, the first to experience, to change, to have to feel the change and innovate in order to sustain their business. For example, the pandemic affects supply chains in the retail, restaurant, financial sector, tourism industries, to name a few. These industries have to explore, assess, and devise innovative solutions. Currently, we have witnessed the growing trend in digital trade and e-commerce. This digitalization trend is also likely to continue post-pandemic with the new norms. Here in this conference, I'm sure that you'll be discussing the role of sustainability and innovation and the main effects of COVID-19 on human and business activities. I also believe that the proliferation of digital technologies and the digital environment will offer new opportunities for identifying needs and means of delivering business activities, including the requirement for industries to comprehend about sustainable development goals and sustainability reporting, for example. Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. In response to this COVID-19 pandemic as well, digital technologies have proven to be practical solutions. We have been discussing the trends of adoption and utilization of digital technologies for many years now. And due to COVID-19, the adoption is somewhat accelerated. This unprecedented episode of pandemic will create upsurge in the use of digital technologies among consumers now in the near future, which is going to be very real. Change is happening in every sector. It is no longer business as usual. We need a paradigm shift. Believe it or not, in business, consumers also demand changes in us. We have seen many examples of business failures as a result of not meeting consumer expectations. Take the ride-hailing industry, for example. Despite new industry players' attempts to enter the market, what remain are the big players who have strong foundations and are quick in transforming their businesses. Many challenges are also observed in various other industries too. It is about how we incorporate intelligence into our planning processes to maximize the digital technologies and capture new growth as well as new market. In the era of digital economy, which is built on internet-based and digital technologies, to be successful, businesses need to shift from a transactional model to a relationship model, which is the focus is not solely on the selling of products, but also selling services and creating deeper connection with customers. Every day, billions of people are sharing online using connected devices. They are posting images, videos, tweets, and text messages. They are liking and sharing other people's updates. There are celebrities reviewing products for a fee. My goodness. Consumers can rely on 5-star ratings to make purchases. Vice versa, a 1-star only poor rating may cause enough damage for businesses to cease operations. So the whole marketing strategy has to be completely moved away from the more traditional platforms that tend to rely on repetitive advertisements. Data and lots of business data means food for artificial intelligence, AI. Machine learning algorithms can analyze data, billions of transactions, and variables to make businesses smarter in reaching their target customers. While browsing in Lazada or Shopee, consumers keep seeing AI-suggested products based on their past purchase data. This shortens the consumer's shopping time, while at the same time, businesses can target what the customers are exposed to, hence cost savings in promotion and advertising. Digitalization and technological progress are neither automatic nor inevitable. They should involve efforts by individuals, firms, researchers, and governments. As Malaysia is finalizing the 12th Malaysia Plan 2021 to 2025, it is very crucial to refocus more on digitalization. In the 11th Malaysia Plan, digitalization was mostly covered under the macro strategy or driving productivity to ensure sustainable and inclusive growth. Digitalization is the key for long-term sustainability to survive in an increasingly digital economy. We have witnessed how a pandemic crisis stimulates digitalization. The COVID-19 pandemic has motivated the government to stay committed to providing effective and inclusive connectivity in Malaysia. By applying online purchases and digital marketing, businesses are able to sustain their operations during this crucial period. We would like to share with you the government initiative under the assistance through the e-Penjana, which is a program and a compulsory check-in through the My Sejahtera or contact tracing application has also improved familiarity with digital platforms, especially for the older generation. As digital literacy programs are still highly needed, the pandemic has brought us together in shifting towards greater digitalization, bringing us closer virtually. Government must introduce digital literacy programs among communities to prepare for the public for the new normal. So we are witnessing the future arriving at a more rapid pace. We must accept that there will be no snap back to normal ways. We must be more open to avoid future tragedies. Thus, it is time for us to embrace digitalization to guarantee an equitable and sustainable recovery. Tan Sri, ladies and gentlemen, the global coronavirus pandemic, which has already caused unimaginable devastation and hardship, as I mentioned, everywhere in the world, has brought our way of life to an almost complete halt. The pandemic has profound, lasting economic and social consequences in every corner of the globe. With the COVID-19 pandemic, most educational, professional, and commercial services are shifting their operations to the homes. Whilst these shift working patterns impact on lower electricity use in those sectors, in the commercial sectors, now the residents may have impacted on a surge in electricity consumption. According to Malaysia Energy Information Hub 2018, electricity consumption in Malaysia has been growing rapidly since 2000 until 2016 and is expected to increase over the coming years. Despite the challenging macro environment of COVID-19 pandemic, where the contraction in electricity demand, mainly from the industry, commercial and mining sectors, nevertheless, Malaysia's electricity consumption data for domestic is rapidly rising. For being staying at home, most of us will be staying at home. So the recent statistic reported by Department of Statistics 2020 has shown that Malaysia's electricity consumption data increased from 2,876.5 million kilowatt hours for March 2020 to 3,949.5 million kilowatt hours from May 2020, a 37.3% increase in domestic usage. At this time of global crisis, it shows that Malaysian households have been using more electricity than usual. Such a shift in energy using pattern creates new challenges as well, as the electricity consumption of the residential sector increase. This will be accompanied by higher fossil fuels consumption. Rising demands of fuel to generate electricity leads to greater greenhouse gases, as we all know, GHG emissions, predominantly carbon dioxide, CO2, which contribute to global warming. Nonetheless, such challenges can also create opportunities and promote greater awareness to the public. Then, a choice of green growth will provide a key answer on how to fight against the global warming. A greener energy must play a vital role if the aim is to use energy efficiency, safeguard global environment, and warrant sustainable energy supplies. At UMT, we are proud to work towards establishing a low-carbon and green campus to achieve our university mission statement, generating knowledge for the prosperity of the community and world sustainability. I believe this mission statement is achievable when we ourselves become among the pioneers in adopting green technology and means to run our university. While we are doing our part in conserving our conversation, I believe that we admit that any team or strategy that we work out without the right human capital and human governance. Consequently, UMT has been very determined in building the right human capital for the university's development and sustainability. We admit that we are still far from completely inculcating digitalization and green technology in our university, but then the right human capital we can expect such smart ways of doing jobs and tasks to become common shared values among our employees, especially our lecturers, in delivering their teaching to the students. We need innovators, strategists, the leaders and frontliners of this digital revolution for the benefit of government, university, industry and society within the context of SDGs and ESG. In closing, I would like to reiterate what I said earlier, which is that the new normal is happening in every sector, including the education sector. Hence, I look forward to receiving valuable inputs and insights from the more recent academic research findings from this conference leading to our publications. In this difficult and complex time, all nations are tasked with serious challenges ahead. It is important to ensure that the global economy continues to move towards a greener, smarter, and fairer path of recovery to the strengthening of fundamentals, increasing financial productivity by innovative methods, digitalization of products and processes. To end my speech, I would like to take this opportunity to extend our sincere appreciation to our collaborators and partners, the Malaysian Accounting Association, MyAA, Malaysia Ekonomi Association, MEA, and Glorify Crest Synergies in the Berhad for your support. Thank you so much. Once again, I would like to thank the conference organizers for providing a good platform for the invaluable inputs to reach us. Since this conference is held biannually, inshallah, God willing, there will be an upcoming 7th Icabec in 2020. Thank you very much for those people in the back for doing the frontliners as also supporting this virtual conference, the media, the photographers, and all the people who are doing this the best for our conference today. I wish you all a lively and productive conference, and we can promote more innovative society for a sustainable future in a truly responsible way. With that, I end my speech. Thank you very much. Have a good sessions today. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Dato Dr. Noain Haji Mokhtar, for a very insightful speech. Now, we will like to introduce the faculty which organizes the conference. Please enjoy the corporate video of Faculty of Business, Economics and Social Development of University Malaysia Terengganu. This is the moment, the officiating ceremony of Icabec 2020 by Tan Sri Abdul Wahid Omar, the chairman of Bursa, Malaysia Berhad. But before we begin, let us briefly read his biography.
Tan Sri Abdul Wahid Omar, 56, is currently the chairman of Bursa Malaysia Berhad and National University of Malaysia, UKM. He is regarded as one of the most versatile corporate leaders in Malaysia, having successfully led 4 major organizations in infrastructure development, telecommunications, financial services, and investment management. He served as Group Chairman of Pemodalan Nasional Berhad, PNB, which is Malaysia's largest fund management company from August 2016 to June 2018, following the completion of his term as a senator and minister in the Prime Minister's Department in charge of economic planning from June 2013 to June 2016.
Prior to his cabinet appointment, Tan Sri Abdul Wahid was formerly the president and CEO of Maybank from 2008. Prior to joining Maybank, he was the group CEO of Telekom Malaysia Berhad from 2004 until its demerger with Axiata Group Berhad in 2008. He was also formerly the Manager Director and the CEO of UEM Group Berhad, the first role of CEO at the age of 37. He successfully led the turnaround of UEM Group, Malaysia's largest infrastructure development conglomerate, which owned Plus Expressway following its takeover by Khazanah Nasional in 2001.
Tan Sri Abdul Wahid is a member of the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, SCCA UK, the Institute of Chartered Accountants in England and Wales, ICAEW, and the Malaysian Institute of Accountants, MIA. He has received numerous awards throughout his career. This includes Malaysia CEO of the Year 2006 award from Business Times, American Express, the Asian Bankers 2013 Leadership Achievement Award for Malaysia, and the Edge Value Creator Award in 2013. He was also awarded the Honorary Doctorate in Economy from Multimedia University, MMU, in 2014, and Honorary Doctorate in Economy and Muamalat Administration by the Islamic Science University of Malaysia, USIM, in 2018.
Tan Sri Abdul Wahid currently serves as a trustee of WWF Malaysia, Professor of Practice at INSIF, and as a visiting fellow at Oxford Centre for Islamic Study in the UK. And now, without further ado, we would like to invite Tan Sri Abdul Wahid Omar, the chairman of Bursa Malaysia Berhad, to deliver his speech and to officiate the 6th International Conference of Accounting, Business and Economics, Icabec 2020. Tan Sri, the floor is yours.
It appears we are having some technical issues. Our staff are looking into it right now. So we would like to ask all participants to just bear with it and stay with us for a few minutes. Thank you.
So is it better now?
We can hear you, Tan Sri.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. Well, thank you for the very kind introduction. Let me start again. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yang berbahagia Profesor Dato Dr. Nuraini Haji Mokhtar, Vice Chancellor of MT, Deputy VCs, Pro Vice Chancellor, distinguished panel speakers, participants and guests, conference organizers, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning. Let me begin by thanking the Faculty of Business, Economics and Social Development, UMT, for organizing this conference. It is indeed an honor and privilege for me to address you at today's opening ceremony of the 6th International Conference on Accounting, Business and Economics 2020. Before I proceed further, please allow me to address the loss of a towering patriot yesterday, Allahyarham, Yang Mulia Royal Professor Tunku Abdul Aziz. Allahyarham passed away yesterday at the age of 98. Allahyarham was the third Vice Chancellor of University of Malaya from 1968 to 1988. He was the founder of Dewan Bahasa and Pustaka, as well as Tabung Haji, a truly Malaysian patriot, if you like. We're all saddened by his loss. And if I may request, as a mark of respect for Allahyarham, can we recite Al-Fatiha? And for the non-Muslims, you may observe a moment of silence, please. Al-Fatiha. Ameen. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted that despite the current global health pandemic, the organizers have found a way to conduct this conference online for the very first time. This continuity is essential as this conference complements the growing importance of sustaining the economic prosperity of the nation through the dissemination of recent academic research findings on related fields. As Professor Dato Nuraini mentioned earlier, I understand that the UMT has managed to gather some 155 presenters from 9 countries, namely Australia, Indonesia, Nigeria, Brunei, Jordan, Pakistan, Japan, Saudi Arabia, and Malaysia. And I also understand that selected papers from this conference will be considered for publication in several Scopus Index journals. So this is indeed quite an achievement for UMT. I'm confident that this conference will provide the much needed input for the academic viewpoint in supporting the nation through this challenging period, which will help fulfill the vision of Malaysia becoming a developed country one day, inshallah. The theme, sustainable business and innovation, new normal going forward, is very relevant for us. Please allow me this morning to cover 3 areas in my address. Firstly, the current state of the economy. Secondly, how the pandemic has brought some positive changes. And third, what businesses and the accounting profession need to do in the new normal. Ladies and gentlemen, this COVID-19 pandemic is unprecedented and has adversely impacted people's lives and livelihood. As of yesterday, there were some 73 million cases and more than 1.6 million deaths worldwide. It is therefore of a very serious concern to all of us. The lockdowns and restrictions to movements have been implemented to contain the pandemic and to save lives. However, these actions have also significantly impacted businesses and the economy, with 2020 global GDP expected to contract by some 4% and Malaysian GDP to contract by 5.4% based on forecasts by Maybank. The economic contraction is causing a ripple effect on people's earnings and household incomes. Issues such as a reduction in demand, weak financial standings, and interruptions to supply chains, among others, have created new complexities. Specific business challenges include delays in receivables and payments, lack of liquidity, and decline in revenues, all of which can cause businesses to become highly indebted to sustain itself in this crisis. We can see that some sectors have undeniably suffered more than others. The travel and tourism industry in particular is arguably the most affected due to the decline in demand and global travel restrictions. A report by United Nations Agency highlights a decline in international tourism by 70% between January and August 2020 against the same period last year. And this translates into 700 million fewer tourists and a loss of over $700 billion in export revenues globally. Putting this into perspective, this loss is equivalent to 10 times the one suffered in 2009 global financial crisis. In Malaysia, a published study reports that during the period of 11 January to 16 March 2020 alone, over 170,000 hotel bookings were cancelled due to COVID-19, with losses of almost 70 million ringgit. Since then, of course, workers in the hospitality industry have either faced pay cuts or have been instructed to take unpaid leave, or some of them even laid off. International airlines, including our homegrown Malaysia Airlines, Air Asia, and Malindo Air, have also had to implement similar measures due to the impact of COVID-19 on its operations and profitability. While our financial markets have remained fairly resilient in dealing with such shocks, this crisis is still conceivably the most challenging ever faced by financial institutions in the last 100 years. For banks, deterioration in asset quality, the low interest rate environment, and restrained growth are expected to continue. Volatility in our markets will remain elevated in the near term, given the global resumption of the rise in COVID cases. The broader macroeconomic and geopolitical factors have also resulted in a global risk-off sentiment, with investors moving out of equities into other safer asset classes. This has spurred higher foreign outflow from Malaysian equities, a phenomenon that is not unique to Malaysia only, but also experienced by all emerging markets. For Bursa Malaysia, we have seen some 24 billion ringgit in net foreign outflow in the equities market for the first 11 months of 2020. Now, this is more than double the 11.1 billion ringgit net foreign outflow in 2019. This trend, as I mentioned, is not unique to Malaysia, as other emerging markets have similarly experienced large net foreign outflow. Thailand, for example, experienced some $8.4 billion in net outflow, Indonesia, $2.9 billion, and the Philippines, $2.3 billion for the first 11 months of 2020. However, we have noted that the quantum of outflows has been well absorbed by domestic institutions and retail investors. It is worthy to note that retail investors in Malaysia have absorbed more than half of the foreign outflow. Retail investors now contribute more than 1/3 of the total trading volume in the market. Now, as we move into 2021, the reopening of the economy will undoubtedly have a positive impact on the economy and consequently on corporate earnings. Malaysia cannot afford to go into another lockdown, though this virus will be with us for the long haul. To move forward, we have to be patient, embrace changes, and learn how to live with COVID-19. Of course, with strict compliance to the standard operating procedures, or SOP. Ladies and gentlemen, the trajectory of change that has brought about this new normal has come at such unprecedented speed. But Alhamdulillah, I think we have seen some positive elements too. We have been able to quickly learn, adapt, and innovate, and with a marked increase in our consciousness of the importance of social well-being and sustainability. Along with this new normal came the acceleration of technology adoption as people embrace cashless solutions and the time-saving value of virtual meetings, just like what we're doing today. This speedy adoption of new digital technology is in line with Malaysia's digital agenda, which should help propel the country's development and innovation. Bursa Malaysia has also benefited tremendously from the adoption of online trading. For the first 9 months of 2020, online trading represents 78% of total retail trades on Bursa Malaysia. and this has contributed to the doubling of the average daily trading value for the overall market from 1.9 billion ringgit per day in 2019 to 3.9 billion ringgit in the first 3 quarters of 2020. COVID-19 has also brought to the centrality of sustainability for business resilience. Companies that integrated sustainability and transparency strategically into their business operations before the COVID-19 crisis are now putting an even stronger emphasis on it. This is because they have realized that this has given them more agility in responding to unexpected events. Similarly, governments around the world are looking into policies that will encourage the sustainability of our resources. The security of our resources, from water to food and energy, can only be achieved if they are produced and consumed sustainably. This pandemic has also proven the viability of the environmental, social, and governance agenda for both stakeholders and investors. In the first 4 months of 2020, investors poured a record $12 billion into ESG funds. ESG investments have proven to be remarkably resilient, where 70% of ESG funds for all asset classes are outperforming its competitors. As the COVID-19 pandemic continues to evolve, there's never been a more pressing need for organizations to rethink and reconfigure their businesses for a changing world. Companies with agile management systems and a corporate governance and a corporate commitment to ESG goals are set to emerge as major beneficiaries of this shifting paradigm. Ladies and gentlemen, COVID-19 is expected to continue for the foreseeable future, and most businesses can expect to remain under pressure. Innovation is needed as one of the ways for businesses to sustain itself. To maintain business continuity, companies cannot operate with the business as usual mindset. What they have done in the past may no longer be effective in this new normal. Innovation is a crucial factor that can support financial and operational sustainability. Some of the key considerations that businesses can employ include, firstly, adapting core business areas to address changes in customer needs. Secondly, finding and acting upon new opportunities given the new normal landscape. Third, reassessing initiatives and allocating resources optimally. And fourth, developing a strong base to ensure they remain competitive during the crisis and post-crisis periods. I must stress that the significance of technology will be even more pronounced during times of crisis. Food delivery businesses, online classes, e-commerce, virtual meetings and conferences, such as today's Icabec, make it possible for business continuity. Technological advancements such as big data and artificial intelligence will help companies remain viable in this ever-changing landscape. Organizations have to be agile and quickly adapt to innovation. A crisis inevitably demands difficult decisions to be made. And throughout this year, small business owners, corporate CEOs, and government leaders alike were confronted with this hard reality. Like every profession, accountancy will emerge from this COVID-19 crisis change, with companies looking at accountants to provide strategic advice. How well businesses adapt and move forward will be dependent on the ingenuity of accountants and finance professionals alike. The rapid impact COVID-19 has had on economies has underscored the importance of a resilient and sustainable operating model. To achieve this, companies need to ensure the seamless integration of activities surrounding business continuity plans, procurement, inventory management, and even forecasting and financial planning. Accountants will need to work with stakeholders to help identify those areas where productivity can be improved. They will need to help deliver a sustainable cost structure without negatively impacting its customer resiliency and compliance. Moving forward, accountants need to put a narrative around the numbers and assumptions that can deliver logical conclusions while maintaining corporate integrity to enable management to make objective and pragmatic decisions. I always emphasize on the need to focus on the fundamentals and focus on substance over form. So that's indeed been my motto as an accountant in the past, and I hope that will continue to be embraced by all accountants in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, no strategy will work if we do not have first-class talent and mindset. Therefore, I'm happy to note of UMT's determination in building the right human capital for the country's development and sustainability. Once again, please allow me to thank UMT for making this conference happen and for inviting me to deliver this keynote address. To all the conference participants, I trust that you will take advantage of this platform to discuss pertinent issues and provide solutions from the perspectives of accounting, business, economics, and finance. Sustainability in this time of crisis requires a collaborative effort, and the responsibility to preserve a better future remains squarely on the collective shoulders of every single one of us. As such, we must all play our part and move forward together. Let us all do our respective part within our circle of influence, embrace a positive and constructive attitude, and embrace the spirit and intention of Rukun Negara. And I think, God willing, inshallah, this country of ours will continue to progress. On that note, it gives me great pleasure to officially open the 6th International Conference on Accounting, Business, and Economics 2020. Thank you.
Thank you, Tan Sri. We would like to convey our deepest appreciation to Tan Sri Abdul Wahid Omar, Chairman of Bursa Malaysia Berhad, for officiating Icabec 2020. Heartiest thanks also go to Professor Dato Dr. Aieni Haji Mokhtar, Vice Chancellor of UMT, for her welcoming speech.
We would also like to thank our sponsor, Glorify Crest Synergy Syndrome Berhad, and our two collaborators, Malaysian Accounting Association and Malaysian Economics Association, and to all associated journals. To all participants, don't forget to join our session with the keynote speakers and the industry speaker shortly after this at 11 a.m. and tomorrow at the same time. Details of the speakers and schedules are on the Icabec website and on the Icabec program book.
With that, we have completed our officiating ceremony. Have a wonderful and productive conference and all the very best to all presenters. Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum. Before everyone leaves, we would like to invite to all participants to switch on their webcam for a virtual photography session. Once again, before everyone leaves, we would like to invite everyone to switch on their webcam for a virtual photography session. Alright, on the count to 3. 1, 2, and 3. Smile. With that, and thank you.